Sure. Dumelang, Sanbonani, Goeienaand. Yo, I wanted to say it Kasvenda, and then like I had a whole moment more saying. But good evening to everybody and welcome to Around the Table Conversations with KBM, myself. Yeah, I know this is new and people might be thinking, what the hell? What's wrong with this girl? But I just wanted to change, guys. Like, I was just tired of my beanies and I was tired of my short hair. And I was like, yo, let's just try something out of this world. So you'll get used to it. I know it's still going to be a shocker for a lot of people, but hey, like I really, really don't mind. We can discuss it. If you feel like it's a whole discussion point, ask questions, get that. But anyway, welcome again to Around the Table Conversations. Let me introduce myself to those of you that don't know me. I am Katleho Buntle Mutingwe, and I am your host. And unfortunately, my co-host, Tommy, is not here today, but I want to send a special shout out to him. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Papa Ruru. Happy birthday, Tommy. I hope you really, really had an amazing day and you were spoiled and had some drinks. We do miss you today. It's very awkward that I'm hosting a men's show alone, speaking to other men, but I don't think I'll crack, guys. I don't think it's gonna be too much for me, just having conversations. So I don't really think that there's anything hard about having conversations per se. So welcome to the Kabomu Communications followers as well. Welcome to the new audience of Around the Table. And yeah, guys, let's get ready to have a night of amazing conversations. Our topic today is exploring millennial fatherhood. So what that means is we're just going to explore fathers in the age gap of millennials, right? We're not excluding any other fathers, but I mean, I'm a millennial myself and I have kids as well. So we just want to explore the thoughts of what our age group is really thinking, or people in that gen, what is it? What are we? Gen X, Gen Z? Jesus Christ, sorry guys. Yeah, somewhere there. But anyway, we'll get to explain what all of that means in the show. Without wasting any of your time, I'm going to introduce my guests, right? But before I introduce my guests, I just want to speak about the three things that stood out for me in last week's show. And last week's show was about liberation in pride, and we spoke to Muhale and Oletu. And the one thing that stood out for me is that the LGBTQI plus, I got it right, community is human, like all of us, although there's a lot of stereotypes around them. But I mean, they live normal lives like us. They've had to adjust to society. They're just as bubbly and as positive as we are. They're happy being gay. They're happy with their same-sex marriages. I mean, they're humans, guys, but happy. You know what I mean? So with all the misconceptions that were there, I think we did clarify a few as well, last week. So if you did miss the show, please feel free to go and revisit it on the Gabomu Communications page. Hi, Milky. I see your comment over there. But anyway, let me get to it and introduce my first guest. So my first guest is actually a friend, and we actually built this friendship about 3-4 years ago, and he's been an amazing friend, through all my hardships, through everything that we've ever tried, conversations we've had. And his name is Thokozane Voja Hlongwane. I don't know where the Voja comes from, but I'm sure he'll be able to explain. So, hey, welcome to the show, Voja.
Hi, guys. Hi. Hello.
Hi. Why not too shy? You ngati Augaga be right.
I'm very shy, by the way. Very shy.
No, you're not shy. You're not
but
shy.
At least I'm not seeing people. At least it's a screen, so I'm not nervous or anything. This is much better than a room full of people because I'm very shy.
So if this was in a studio, do you think it would be any different?
The mechanics, I'm a huge mechanics fan. So I think looking at the microphones and the studio buttons, I'd be excited. I don't think I'd be nervous.
Okay. Oh
I'd be
wow!
like a little
Welcome.
kid. I'd be like a little kid in Disneyland.
Well, I hope you feel like a little kid in Disneyland now. You know what I mean? You're going to
Definitely.
meet other two guests as well. The next guest, anyway, let me introduce before letting you introduce yourselves. His name is Mlamli. I know he's part of a group that's got to do with arts and performances and actually, but I like the fact that we are all different, but we've come together because of one topic where we are all parents. So hello Mlamli and welcome to Around the
Hello,
Table.
hello, hello, hello. Manuel.
Oh, Molo Data.
Sure.
Are you
How's
close to
it?
me?
Yes, I am.
Oh wow, okay. Wow, okay. That's
Do
that's
you do
great.
you believe that might just be a lie?
Well, I don't know what the difference really is, you know what I mean? So just before
That's
the
what you
show,
say about Xhosa people.
no, I was just told before the show that anything Xhosa is royalty. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, okay. Must be nice being the Xhosas. So I guess you're part of that royalty too. So welcome to the show, and we're happy to have you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm happy to be here.
All right. I know you were doing rehearsals earlier on, so I hope you're not too tired to be engaging with our audience as well.
No, 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 we good. We good.
All right. Anyway, guys, that's Togozani and Mlamli, and our last guest for today is Andile Ashington Mia. I don't know why he uses Ashington. Mara, it sounds like a cool name. Maybe Tara explain it. Hi, Andile. Oh,
Hi,
you've muted
people.
yourself.
Yeah, I
Oh, there
muted
we go.
myself. Yeah. How are
How are
you?
you?
I'm good, thank
Well,
you.
I'm good. I'm good. So, hello, gentlemen. You can all greet each other. I know you saw each other in the backstage, but it's good to have all of you here. Thank you for taking your time out um, to be with me and our audience, our viewers. I'll call them viewers because I call this a show. So, without wasting time, I have a question for you guys, right? It's an
Okay.
icebreaker. Ne? You don't have to think too hard about it. Anything that comes to mind, you can just have a go at it, right? So my question to you guys is: do you guys um, think pineapple belongs in food? Food being like pizza or rice or a salad or whatever. Do you think pineapple belongs in food?
Food.
Yes.
I do.
I think
Okay.
it should
I
just
do.
be it should
I'm
just be
passionate about
a food
pineapple.
salad.
I enjoy pineapple.
Okay,
Well,
sorry. There's a leg somewhere. There's a leg, but it's fine. We'll figure it out. So, what were you saying, Lumley?
I'm saying pineapple happens to be my favorite fruit, so I'm gonna be biased in my response.
Oh, okay. Why we can't pineapple? You're not a woman, so I can't just assume this.
Eh?
But why you can't pineapple?
I don't know, man. It's just it goes in. Like mang meaning it my fruit, ngiyahluleka ukudla my fruit, but I think it kind of like it goes in. There's
I
no
see.
specific reason.
Okay. Angela, you were saying, what were you saying about pineapple in food?
I don't know. I think it should just be fruit salad.
Oh,
I can't
so only in a
imagine.
fruit salad. Only in a fruit
Yeah, I
salad.
can't imagine
Nothing cooked.
pineapple in a pizza.
But pineapple on a pizza, there is that type of flavor. So, what do you think about that?
People who eat that are capable of murder. Trust me.
Whoa. But I like your statement.
No shade, Mlamli. No shade at all. I ain't throwing no shots.
I
Oh,
think
shit.
a pineapple should be in a glass of something with ice.
Yes.
I don't think it's food.
Okay.
Yeah. When I
All
think
right.
of a pineapple, I think of something to drink, something nice. I don't think of food.
Oh, okay. So
Hmm.
I don't know. Like I feel there's certain things you can do to pineapple, like anything fruity. I don't believe it should really go into like usually, like Angela said, like people that eat pineapple in a pizza, I get sure, I get sure, but anyway, guys, before we get going, for those that can't join on the page, what I'd like for you guys to do is please share the video, the live stream as a watch party on your personal profiles. So that way you still are engaging with your audience and people that are following you or friends that would like to hear the conversation.
Can we do that now?
Okay, let me give you 2 minutes. Okay, because I'm going to look like I'm distracting you guys, but I can give you guys 2 minutes and we're good to go. So just share it as a watch party so that you are still engaging with all your fans, if you could call it that, or your friends, family. Yes, for those that are not able to be on the show. Okay, cool. We're all good to go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Anyway, Namli, do you want to introduce yourself to the guests, who you are, what you're about, where you're from?
Cool. Igama umlamli wakamaloyi, theater practitioner, founder of Art24 Entertainment and Art24 Academy.
Nice. Okay, what does what does Art24 do?
So Art24 is a company that actually wants to bring back authenticity to Kasi and focuses on urban street creation, so urban street brands, urban street talent, so the academy, what it does, that it trains the talent. So we put the people that we have. This year we have about 58 artists that we're managing. So we put all that talent under then intensive training through performance arts. And then we cast them into different productions and different shows throughout the year. And obviously then manage how they get gigs and all of that and teach them that art is business.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That I guess the art, I know from a cousin of mine who's also in the art, is a very big thing and it's a very big deal. So kudos to you, and I really hope that you do well. Thokozane, do you want to then introduce yourself?
Sanbonani Onke. My name is Thokozane Hlongwane. I'm from Soweto, White City. I am a dad and I am a provocative social individual. So part of the reason that I was brought here is because I seem to provoke interesting conversations, and I seem to have a lot of people that have an interest in what I have to share and what I have in mind. First and foremost, like I said, I'm a dad, so I'm because of that part, because I'm a father to an 8-year-old girl. Her name is Kukuletu. So when I heard about this topic, I had an interest in being a part of this show just to find out what is it that people see and feel around fatherhood currently, because it's a struggle, it's fun, it's so especially for us millennial dad, I feel it's a very tricky time to be a dad right now, because we are in an age where we are trying to rediscover and just find ourselves while we have humans that we need to look after as well. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to hear what people have to say, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Boja. Oh, that was a mouthful. I wanted to ask questions, but anyway, I will get to that later. And Andile? Andile.
I'm struggling to hear you. I can't hear anything.
Really?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, maybe what you can do for us. Yes.
I see your mouth is moving,
okay,
but I can't hear anything.
But you can leave the broadcast.
I can only hear Mlamli laughing at the background.
Okay, Mlamli, please tell him to leave the broadcast and come back in again, and then
should I go out and then go back in?
Yes. Oh, 19.
Yes.
What is happening again? The same thing happened to the show on Wednesday where a guest couldn't hear me, but they could hear the other guest, and it was just teamwork. But anyway, thank you for the teamwork, guys. But anyway, just to carry on, guys. The one thing for me that stands out is that there's a lot of single parents, right? And in the single parentness, there's a lot of co-parenting as well, you know. So we live in a time where, we live in a time, sorry, okay, here's Angela, let's try it one last time. So we live in a time where everybody is like Ugo just said, that everybody's trying to figure themselves out, you know. But it becomes very difficult because we're also raising kids. We're also, you know, we've also got work to do and so forth. Like, how do we find that balance within ourselves? Anyone can go.
Andile, can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear you now, guys. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, cool. We'll give you 2 minutes. But my question was, before we carry on to the question, you can just introduce yourself and maybe then just go into the question to say, how do we find the balance as millennials? Because a lot of us now are either single parents, and then single parents comes with co-parenting, and even with the co-parenting, we kind of need to find the balance and figure ourselves out as well. So where exactly do we find the balance, and when do we find the balance?
Okay.
My name is Andile. Oh, should I introduce myself,
No,
or are you gonna go
introduce
first
yourself and
again?
then just go into the question. Yeah.
Oh, okay. My name is Andile Mia from Orange Farm. I grew up in Orange Farm, and I'm currently residing in Soweto. And I am doing IT at the company. I don't know if I should mention my
No,
company's name or
no, no.
okay. I'm a father of 3 boys. One being my stepson. So yeah, that's just about
Okay,
it.
that's amazing. So, how do you find the
Yeah.
balance in being a father and a stepfather, if there's such a thing?
It's a how can I say it? It's a tough thing to do because my stepson, I'm gonna call him my son. He's older. He's 14. He just turned 14 yesterday.
Happy
He
birthday.
understands. He knows the mechanism of me being a stepfather to him. Even though he calls me dad, but there's something that he wants from his real father, and I need to be supportive of that as well. And I need to teach my younger children, my younger boys, that this is your brother as well, even though he's not biologically mine. You know what I mean? So it's a
Yeah.
very tough thing to do, but it's very doable actually.
Okay, Tokozana, you were saying something?
Okay. This bounces quickly because we were talking about we were
We're
talking
talking about the
about
balance. Yes.
the balance, and then now the stepfather equations tapped into it. So let me just move back to the first situation.
It's fine. We
Okay,
can
no
always
problem.
the conversation. You know, we can always link
Yeah.
pieces of the puzzle together.
Okay. First of all, I'd like us to just try to possibly dissect the single parent word,
Okay.
because I think it's a sensitive situation in terms of most single parents declared situations are not so single parents. I think if the father is present in one way or the other, I don't think you can regard yourself as a single parent. Or if the mother is there in one way or another, you can't regard yourself as a single parent because the other parent is there. Yeah, totally that. So
Yeah.
I think the balance is easy because remember we're all driven by the love we have for the child. So in the situation whereby you are single or you've separated from the mother, if the love for the child is there from both of you guys, I don't think there's anything that could be a problem in you interacting and engaging to be there for the child. So I'm not very experienced in that situation. I'm still trying to find my feet around it as well. So I cannot say much on it, but I
Do
do
you
believe
consider
in,
yourself a
in it
single
working.
father?
Excuse me?
Do you consider yourself a single father?
No, I'm not a single father. My daughter has a mother that loves her and is fully there for her. So I'm not a single parent.
Okay. So in your situation then, I like the fact that you mentioned that a lot of people always say they're single, whereas it's not really being a single parent, you know what I mean? Because you still have the support of the other parent, you know?
Yeah.
So at what point do people actually become single parents?
Okay. Should I go into that or do we give it to someone else?
Anyone, I mean, it's a conversation, guys. Anyone can join to it. If you feel that you answer for it.
Mlamli, you are
Sure.
up.
So I feel like maybe to answer the first question, balance. I think you only get that balance when both parents who are supposed to be co-parenting, firstly, for lack of a better word, are over each other, right? So you agree with the Aksana Majola, Aksana Majonjana, we are co-parenting. It normally works better there because then we understand what people then have partners and then we must respect their partners. So now, people must just respect the fact that they were co-parenting. But on a more serious note, I think if we all mature about it in the union, then it makes it more easier. I think that's where you find the balance. I think I found my balance when I closed that avenue. We have these myths as Black people that we always like to believe. I'm always entitled to like A, B, and C. So once we put those like to a hold and actually find the consensus and saying, okay, this is what we're doing, we're co-parenting and we agree on it. That's where we normally all, that's where I found the balance. I'll speak for myself. And then what is two boten gamaskis?
How do we know? Like, how do you define a single parent? Like, I need to watch out. We a lot of us say we are single parents, whereas we are not single parents. We're just co-parenting. You know what I mean? So, angazi, if it's the term co-parenting that we don't understand, or it's understanding what being a single parent means. So that's where the question is for me to say: at what point do we say we are single parents? You know?
If the parent of the child you have, if the one parent is deceased, that's when you are a single parent. But if the parent then is alive and active, rather, maybe let me add that, then you are not a single parent.
So if the parent is okay, I'm gonna go back to that. So the parent could be alive and not active. Does that make you a single parent?
Yo, I'll speak for myself. That parent is still alive, yo.
I don't think. I don't think.
You said you're a stepfather. Wait. So
Yeah.
sorry. I'm gonna ask this question. You said you're a stepfather.
Okay.
So does the other parent still become involved to the child? Do they become not a stepfather? Sorry. Do they become a single parent? How does it work? I mean, because you are now the mother of the child and you've taken responsibility of the child. So what happens in that conversation?
With my situation personally, I don't think it's people tend to misunderstand the term single parent and single mother or a single woman or a single man. You are a single man when when the child's mother is still involved or the child's father is still involved in the child's lives. If by any means doesn't provide for a child emotionally, doesn't see the child financially, you are a single mother then. If the parent doesn't see the child, you are a single parent then. So with me, my son's father, this is awkward to say, hey, my son's father is still involved in the child's lives, and we encourage the sons to go and want to see their father, because I believe having more than two father figures is way better for a boy child to grow up in this messed up community, in this messed up society. You know what I mean? So to answer the question, being a single parent doesn't mean that if the father or the mother is not involved, it is involved, then you're a single parent.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, from a person who, okay, I'm not a single parent, right? Because the dad is still alive, like Funami said, and he's active in some way or the other, right? So now there's a question here to say, how do we parent effectively without putting a title to it, right? how does it work in terms of men? Because women always have a lot to say because we end up being the guardians of these kids, you know what I mean? But then you have fathers who then also become primary guardians to that. So how do we parent without putting a title to it? Namni?
Mama.
Oh, you
How do
didn't
we
hear
parent?
that. I'm saying,
I
so the
struggle to hear that.
Okay.
also the question that came up is that how do we parent without putting a title to it?
So
Okay,
I think okay. I see a voice.
Sorry,
I think
a delay. So I see that there's a delay. Yeah.
okay, but
So
it's a
you
tiny
can go.
leg. I think it's a second leg. I think we can continue. It's a second leg. It's a short leg.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. First of all, I think we need to unpack the whole context of parenting. What is
Yes,
parenting?
sir.
And after unpacking parenting, that removes now the biological sides and the sexes and everything, because in reality, last week you had a pride show, and the reality is there are people of different sexes that also engage in the practice of parenting. So I think first we need to unpack parenting and understand what is parenting. And as Black South African men, we need to also just take a moment to look into ourselves and just give ourselves uncomfortable questions. Because if we look at the previous father, our dads, and how we grew up, there is a lot of disconnect in terms of how parenting was done. Very few of us got to be very close with our fathers. Very few of us got to be emotionally engaging with our fathers and everything like that. So I think if after we unpack what we view as parenting, that's when we can move forward into analyzing how do you parent without using a title on it. I think, first of all, I wish we had more than an hour, because I think this is too broad and very sensitive to go into. But I think when you understand what parenting is, that's when you can be able to understand what your role may be within that particular situation. I don't know if I've touched on that well. I don't know if anyone else would like to go into that.
So I'll just add, Muti, I actually agree with that point because then you find that a child can have more than two parents. And that already just challenges the idea of biology, the idea of, because even to touch on what Andile is saying, then to say, if then a parent is not present in a child's life, then why are we still even giving them that title? Maybe we can just say they were a donor or something. You know, they contribute. Sorry, they did say it's sensitive, but maybe
Yes,
then
no,
we can say they contributed to the birth of the child, but they are not a parent.
I guess this then brings us to the question that you asked in a poll earlier, and I think you then touched on it, Bota, is there a difference between a father and a dad, right? And most of the people are like, yes, there is a difference. And I think it was a 7% that said, no, there is no difference. So what is the difference between a father and a dad? And at this point, I'm asking because all three of you have kind of touched on the biology, which is the actual sperm donor to the mother, and then you've got either the step parents or somebody else raising you or whatever. And another question I probably would have asked is we have abo malume, abo babongane, or any other male people in our families, you know what I mean? That some of us may consider fathers because we did not have our actual fathers there. How do we then how is it for raising a boy child? I think people but to me it's how does that support a boy child, or how does that give him the confidence in saying Noma ubaba bekangekho as a biological father, I still had some sort of structure raising me into the boy child that I am.
To answer the first question, the difference between a father and a dad, I think it's, well, according to my explanation, not the dictionary, because the dictionary is going to tell something way different. I think it's all about the father. When we go to biology, it's someone who well, we are all adults here, is someone who has sex, impregnates the woman, and not get involved in anything. Whereas a dad does absolutely everything for the kids or for the child. So I think the difference is between that, the biological side of things, and actually being there for the child and doing everything. And when I say being there, I'm not saying you living in one household and still call yourself a dad but not be in part of your child's life. There are still fathers who live with their kids but they are not involved in their kids' lives. There are still fathers who are married to the mother but they are not involved in their kids' lives. So that's the conversation I think we should be having as well. We can't be saying you are a dad, you live in the household, but you do not know what's happening in your child's life, or you might not even be living with a child as well. You're just popping money every month. When it comes to Father's Day, you come, take photos, you go back, you post them on social media. So I think those are the conversations we as men need to have, and we need to understand what is happening with us as well.
Okay,
So,
I
so
hear
yeah,
you.
so maybe to ask a question, Bazavan, especially now with the comment that's there on the screen, that they say your father is biological. So you asked a question there, Katleho, which I think is very important. Or you are saying that I think it's a conversation you had with who TK, ne? As to father and dad. Ne?
Oh, it was
Are we then
network.
say, yeah, are we then saying, Uti, a dad is biological and a father is a figure? So it could be anyone. It could be anyone who's raising the child at that point, or what are we saying about that?
So I guess the conversation, the way it's gone, and how the results came out, right? And I think somebody posted on my profile as well to say a father is the sperm donor, right? So the father becomes biological, ne? And then the dad
Okay.
becomes I'll call them a secondary dad at this point. I don't know what term to use. I don't want to use stepdad. I don't know what term to use actually, right? So the secondary dad then becomes the secondary male that then becomes the dad, because the dad is the one that supports, so the one that helps the child's growth, whether I'm assuming that they mean if the mother moves on into another relationship or some sort. I don't know, so that's what I want to understand and unpack with you guys to say, how does it sit with you guys? And as a female, for me, father and dad, I didn't think about it that way until I had to do this show, because father is like a longer word and dad is just another shorter word, but only to my surprise to say there's a difference, and like somebody else commented as well on Facebook to say, but like a father and a dad one, but I think the milky I've then learned that actually it doesn't mean the same thing.
It's a language. I think it's a language thing, because we've had people that have had fathers that were probably not so cool or not so fun, but amazing in raising them. They were stern, they listened, they advised, they did things, because remember, after everything, there's individuals. Yeah, I'd probably be a more fun person to speak to the kids and everything, and probably Ulam Lee would be more stern, not so fun, but very reliable. Not that I'm less reliable, but he might be stern, but not so cool and not so fun. But still, he's doing the role that he has to do as a dad. So I think that the difference between father and dad, well, in language forms, it can mean a father is someone that probably biologically gave birth to the child, and then a dad is someone who is much more engaging and more fun with the child. But like I said, there's a thin line within it as well.
Okay.
But in the interest of conversation right now, I think that's the dimensions that it's separated in.
So, Tina, I mean, listening to Ubaba is Ubaba. You know what I mean? Whether step, whether biological. I mean, Babo Mngane, for instance, has the prefix Bab in it. You know what I mean? Babo Mkulu.
Yeah.
So for us in the Black culture, like you said, it's a language thing. You know what I mean? There's no difference. Ubaba, Ubaba. No Baba was next door becomes Baba, because it becomes a respect thing when you're approaching an elder. So I think every experience becomes different for every family in terms of how you are raising these kids and how they refer to the next person, which brings me to my next point now, to saying, I mean, at this point, I want to assume that we are not with the partners that we had the kids with, right? So we then meet other partners. Do your kids then go to, at what point do your kids actually get to meet the other partner, or who do they get to meet? You know what I mean? Because we always need to protect the kids, but at the same time, now we're and you want to be a cool father, So now Umlamli has his child for the weekend, but now he can't see Katleho because the child is going to see Katleho, either get attached or not like her. There's so many dimensions to that. How do we play that scenario on its own?
Hey, that one is deep, that one, Katleho. That one is very deep because,
It's a reality.
like, yeah, like I said in the beginning, like once you have that, yeah, because I'm saying this because I always believe you need to be responsible enough. I liked what you said there, TK, about individualism. I think more relationships would last if people understood that even in a relationship, you are an individual. We understand, eh? So you find that I always then prefer saying to even my baby mamas to say, rather you introduce the kids to someone who you envision a long-term relationship with. Because angeke uthi ujola wenjalo namhlanje umntana uzohlangana no Josephina, kusasa uyohlangana no Maria, the following day uyohlangana no Banban. If you as an individual care about your offspring, you wouldn't want to expose them to that, because now they are confused. Who do they call mama? Who do they, give what kind of respect and love to? So I feel like if you as an individual know, I feel like a lot of people, and I always say this, and I'm sorry, coming to shower, but kunabantu abaningi abazala abantwana bangena-plan for impilo yabantwana babo. And the one thing enempilo yomntwana wakho, uzohamba ujola and uzointroduce umntwana to every person that you meet on a daily basis. And trust you me, you will be responsible for creating that in your child, because now they feel like it's right. Because there's one thing we should know, especially as fathers, but especially as fathers, then you find that kids look up to you as like some sort of a role model. If you mama, your daughter does that. If you baba, your son does that. Sometimes vice versa. But then once your child looks up to you, they look up to every single thing that you do. So if we're now changing women and introducing Abu Mamnani every day is what you teach your child, then don't look at the universe next time then when your child is starting to play that out in real time. So I feel like then it is there. As an individual, do you have a plan for your kids' lives? Because then we won't have to fight about you introducing every Tom, Dick, and Harry if you are introducing one person, who, by the way, I would like to meet.
Okay,
because
so and then you understand that fully, ne? So because I'm the female in the show, I'm just going to try and ask all the questions that are kind of very neutral, and like you're saying, like you said, Uguti, abantu abaningi come and abana plan in raising their kids, you know what I mean? But if Nhlangana no Andile, for instance, and Andile, you're in this situation, at what point did you introduce, or what point was your stepson introduced to you? You know what I mean? Because and we vibe, my child is going to meet you the first time and say umalume Andy, although they might not understand or whatever. Yes, and I meet Togozane and it's Uncle Boja, you know what I mean? So I hear what you're saying about a very thin line as well. But like, at what point when Andy would you say is the right time? I mean, you're the one person now who has a stepson, and you are with you are now in a whole family unit. And I don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not saying any of us here are not in family units, but I'm just trying to use Andile's situation here to say what how at what point did you meet your son? What was the experience there? How did you feel about it in terms of meeting him and having to make sure ukuthi as much as anobabake, right? Now where you're going to play a role in being some sort of support structure.
So with me, I need to say this first. There is no time frame for things. When I met my girlfriend, first thing I checked was the relationship she has with her son. That's the first thing I did. I'm one person who understands that women who don't have kids do not want guys who have kids. And I respect that opinion so much. It's a preference, actually. I respect that preference so much to those women who don't have kids, and I stay away from them. So when I finally met my girlfriend and I saw, okay, on the profile, she's busy talking about her kids. In that aspect, I'm looking at how she is going to treat my own kids. So then I automatically entrusted her, and our kids met each other after 3 months in a relationship. 3 months. And before, my girlfriend is probably watching this in the sitting room. Before it probably took me a year and a half for someone I used to date to introduce them to my kids. So it's all about how
timing.
It's that person. With me, I haven't dated people who don't have kids for a very long time. I don't even know when. So I looked at my girlfriend's relationship with her child. I was like, oh, okay, she's very good with her child. How is she gonna treat my own kids as well? You know what I mean? So it's not a matter of after a year, after 6 months, because everyone can put on this persona, this I am perfect persona, until the kids come there at the house. You know how kids are. My kids are 6 and 7. They are so naughty. So now you're gonna hear the screaming, the swearing, and the true colors are being revealed at the time. So you're gonna end up despising someone because of how they treat your own kids. You know what I mean? So it's a very difficult thing to do, but I believe look at someone's characteristics on how they treat their own kids and try to look at how they're gonna treat your own kids. As soon as you get that figured out, then I think you're good to go, no matter what time frame it may be.
So you're just saying when it's out of luck that you met your partner, your kids met 3 months later, and everything was great to go. I guess also this then speaks to the energies and understanding the next person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The next person. You know, so it's always I had a friend or Atigimi, hey dude, you must stop introducing your kids to all these boys that you're with. And I'm like, but my kids need to understand, Uguti, I have these people in my life, right? I've got a daughter I have a relationship with, Andi Lenai, who happens to have a different relationship with me, and there's Umlam, you know what I mean? And because Tinekaya is in such a way that every other male that comes into the house, Umalume, you will then say Malume Bocha, Malume Andile, and so forth. Until you sit down and have a conversation with them and saying, you know what, Malume Vocha and I have then decided to have a relationship, because you will explain what that entails and so forth and so forth. But kids are also not stupid, you know. I mean, kids are very clever. You know, they see and how we get into this, you know. But yes, Zabalaza, to answer your question on the screen, sorry, there is a difference between dad and father. And our conclusion in the show was that it becomes a language thing where, as Black people, Ubaba is Ubaba, and in the white language, in the Caucasian language, father and dad then seem to be two different things, you know. So I like how we rounded that up. But I mean, Thokozane, you have a girl child, you know, and I'm going to touch on something very sensitive, right? There was a story trending today about a girl who was killed, who was 8 months pregnant, né? And it hit very hard on a lot of people, right? We are now raising children, whether girls or boys, right? But because you are male figures, how do you then have these type of conversations with your kids so that they don't become the monsters? That's what I read. I read that comment to say, how do we raise our kids so that they don't become monsters? How do we raise our kids so that they're not afraid of the other gender? Because now I'm female. The other gender being the males, you know. I mean, we've got kids that are going back to school and they'll be talking about these things, both male and female. How do we as parents, right, groom our kids and mold our kids from societal things that are going on?
Yeah, I also saw the story today. It was trending on Twitter as well when I checked. It's tragic. No one deserves that.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. to Tsecho. And I think being a dad to a girl is frightening. It's frightening because it seems like the enemy has no face. It's could be anyone. So if you were targeting a certain group of people, knowing good, okay, these type of people are dangerous. Try to avoid these type of people. Then it would be easier to manage because we would know if they are wearing a black t-shirt, they are the bad guy. But the realisticness of the situation is that we could be talking to Andile and Lambi today, and tomorrow morning we would wake up and hear that Andile wins a match, meaning that we couldn't prepare ourselves for this because the enemy has no face. The enemy is all of us. So I think that aside from being a dad and scared, I think as guys, as people, we probably need to look into ourselves and just try to understand that what is it that tells us that we have this sense of entitlement towards other people's lives. And that tells us that we can push it to that level. And another thing, the most worrying part is the fact that after someone dies, you lose everything, you probably go to prison. So the scary part is that if you don't have the element of fear for losing your whole life, your whole plans, dreams, goals, plans, everything about yourself, you are willing to lose it for this particular person. This tells you how deep the problem lies. So just to answer your question, as a dad to a girl, I'm scared. Um, I'm scared, and at the same time, I'm trying by all means to make my daughter understand that I don't want her to fear men or not have a relationship with men. I'm not that father that would say don't do that or sugeba funny. I actually am okay with it. I need her to engage with men, to understand boys, to play with that bike, to press that everything, because I need her to understand that the whole sex thing is basically just that. But as human beings and as individuals, we are all people. So I think for me to carefully and to properly achieve this, I need dads like Lamli to push the same agenda to their sons so that when I'm pulling on the left, he's pulling on the right and we are getting a balance. Because no matter what I do to my daughter at home, she still has to walk out and face that world, the world that I have no control over. That I can only hope that fathers like you guys are playing their roles in their homes. So it's a very tricky question to answer because, like I said, you it's like you are steering with one hand. You don't have full control because no matter how amazing you are, she still has to walk out the gate. And as soon as she walks out, your control is limited. So yeah, it's tragic. It's tragic. It's very tragic. It's very scary. I'm paranoid. I worry about my daughter every single moment where I am, whether she's playing, whether she's going somewhere. And I thank the family that she's with because she's very carefully taken care of. She's looked after properly. So yeah, it's scary. It's frightening.
Sure, that is very heavy because I'm raising both a boy and a girl altogether. But Mlamli, I just want to hear your thoughts on this, on like how I mean from all of you actually, and not just certain people. Is that what's your take on all of this? You know what I mean? Because like what you said, the enemy has no face, and these people live amongst us. It's just that masuga lana sonke asibonakali. But as a father that's raising a boy, what is your role?
Yeah. So, so I'm raising a girl child and a boy child, and I think to answer your question, Buntle, is that we need to talk. I feel like I wouldn't even say black families. I think families, I always like to make the example of the dinner table. Like as black homes, we have lost the idea of the dinner table. Like, you know, where we eat song, you ask your kids, simple question, how are you doing? What is the problem? What are you experiencing? The dinner table, because that's where me namangikhula ngazi ukuthi ngo-6 million besendlini siyadla sonke ngesikhathi esiyi-1 endlini. That's when we get to catch up. I think the answer then to that maybe what you're saying from my perspective, that we need to talk, and which is what Vocha is touching now. Kuti, there's no way uzovalela umntwana and say men are this, men are that, men are this, men are trash, or yonke lento le. You just need to then find what you are teaching your kids. It's also even about the sex topic. You know, I did sex education for a couple of years, and you would get to spaces like, I remember we went to KZN once, and we got to a room, like Baba Shem, and no offense. And then when we start speaking about sex, it's like, how? Hey, man, sex. No, but I'm just, that's where the problem starts, because then you don't allow yourself to be able to communicate. You understand?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is communication. If you communicate with your kids, if you allow it to be open, communication, then they're allowed to share with you what they feel and when they feel it and how they feel it. And as well, when Miss Black Diamond, not necessarily saying Guti, when you introduce someone to like a partner, then I'll not plan. What I was saying then is that you need to then also be aware of the pattern that you are creating in the child's mind psychologically. Yeah. When you introduce a child to someone today, break up with them, meet another one tomorrow, break up with them, meet another one next week, break up with them, and all of these people now the kid has definitely found an attachment to. So we need to be careful of that as well.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I never got to touch on the introduction of kids to partners topic.
Okay. Yes. We'll get into it because it kind of links together. Yeah.
I think it's we need to be realistic. Take kids away and just look at dating. In the perfect world, or to sane individuals, you enter a relationship on the basis of a long-standing union with someone, kids or not. If I ask you, Katleho, out, it's because I like you and I'd like to be in a relationship with you. Now, the reality is, in those situations, life happens, and it's things that we don't have control over. I might be entering a relationship, no Katleho, and then things don't work out. Now, put kids in it. If I'm going to enter a relationship, no Katleho, and I'm going to avoid introducing my kids to Katleho because of time or whatever reason, somewhere, somehow, my child is going to be disadvantaged in kind of way, because it means that I need now to separate my times between Katleho
and the child.
And sometimes I can introduce Katleho to the child 6 months later, and then on the 8th month we separate. So I think the reality is there is no program and there is no fix, because there are people that meet and it works out, and there are people that meet and it doesn't work out. So it's tricky. I do agree fully with the fact that you cannot go around introducing your child to any person that you meet. You are probably going to introduce your child to someone that you intend on being in a long-term relationship with. But even within that, there is a loop, there is a little hole of things not working out, and then you might find yourself that you've met someone else. So, and remember again, situations are not the same. There are women that have mhlambe gubo, where they have help with the child. So when she's with me, the child can remain at home, no mama. And there are women that don't have that help. So when she's with me, the child is not with anyone. Yeah. So you can't have, I don't think we can have a formula for that. It's very individual, because we are hluga, izimo ziyahluka nabantu bayahluka.
Sure.
So yeah, when it comes to that, I always want to say, Guti, we need to strongly advise on using discretion in that, because your situation might not be the same as mine.
Hmm.
So, but that does not disregard what you said about hopping around between people. That no parent would like that to happen. I just wanted to raise those points only. Thank you.
Thank you. I also fully agree with you. I would like to assume, Ubuti, as parents, we never want to take our kids through this. But I'm sure we've seen the worst type of parenting. You know what I mean? And I know, Voja, that you've once spoken about in the one topic we spoke about us being toxic women as well. But there's also traits that men have that become toxic, and we show these traits to our kids, and our kids learn from us. So whether they are with us, whether they are with me and while I'm with Boja or whatever it is, there are certain things that Abantwana also learn starting because of conversations that they have at school. You know what I mean? And a topic that we had on Monday as well, speaking on what you were saying as well, is that we also need to normalize that kids can have two fathers, meaning a gay couple can raise a child, meaning a child can have two mothers, where a lesbian couple is raising a child or children in this matter. You know what I mean? So I know it's somebody said it now, is that we need to start sorry, in having the conversations that we as adults have with our kids. You know what I mean? And I was laughing yesterday with my son's one of his friends' moms, and I was saying, I'm raising a boy child, and it's difficult for me to have some of the conversations because I don't even know where to start. You know what I mean? It's so easy that I can relate to Uvo Jomlam, Andile, but how do I start for the young boy? You know what I mean? But I know I've got cousins, nabo malume, nabo babumncane, that can still have these conversations and all of that. You know what I mean? But it's also very vital because umntwana uhlala nami, that what type of conversations am I having? You know what I mean? Mlamli said it, the dinner table. Yes, maybe the houses that we live in don't have dinner tables and so forth and whatever, but I understand the theory of what you're saying. So the essential thing that I got from that is that let's just start having these conversations. Let us just stop, let us just talk, and it's difficult. Like, it's just difficult being a parent. I think you said it as we were opening Voja, to say, Kunzi Maman, being a parent, We are running out of time, guys, but I'm going to steal a few minutes just to wrap up on this topic because I feel like I don't want to leave it hanging. As much as we started the conversation, let's kind of just round it up. So we won't actually finish at exactly 7 o'clock, but we'll feel like a bit of 5 minutes, 10 minutes just to kind of round the topic off, And thank you to everybody that's been contributing, the questions that are coming out, and I hope we've answered people's questions and all the comments as well. But moving into a lighter thing, the future of Black fathers, it's become a cool thing now to be a father. You know what I mean? And among it's cool, meaning you are able to push a Ibrahim Estradin without the mother being there. You know what I mean? And I'll give an example. An analogy that my cousin gave me is that my younger cousin, who is 25, 26, has these friends, right? So Bachelor really, and the one friend, they are going to another friend, but he's pushing the pram of his child, and he's a young dad. But they then walk to this other friend, and now they are coupling the friend who has the baby to all go back home. And while they are all going back home, they're still engaging, having conversations about this child. They're engaging with the child. They're engaging. So they've made being a young dad look cool again, because if we go back from the 1930s to now, to the difference of the transformation on the role of fatherhood, so many things, you know what I mean? Now you have dads who live with their kids, who raise their kids without the mothers, and they're very happy in doing that, you know what I mean? And they speak freely about it, How do you guys feel about that? I mean, for me, it's showing some sort of progress, although we are still living in a broken society, but we are still being present as fathers, to our kids. Andy, then you can go for it.
Oh, okay. I thought someone was gonna go for it.
No.
I think I don't know. There is a thin line between being a cool parent and I'm not gonna say chasing clout, but wanting to be seen as a cool parent.
That's an open conversation.
Or wanting to be seen, wanting to be seen as a cool parent. When you look at the content, I see a lot of fathers on social media. They taking photos of their kids, they playing games, and you can see the content. What message are they trying to spread out there? There are people who are genuinely spending time with their kids, even when the kid is smiling. We are born with no man. This thing is an everyday thing. We say a weekend thing. They are used to this thing, and there are those every now and then we are born with no man. Umntana akajabulanga, ndiwemele ajabulanga khona la. I get that people need to be inspired. That's why most of us probably share social photos on on our kids' photos on social media. They want to inspire other fathers out there. But at the end of the day, we should look at ourselves and say, how do I spend time with my kids without the phone in my hand to show the world that I'm spending time with my kids? You know what I mean? What am I saying to a child? Like to the previous topic, not to go back to a little. UTK touched on the various, he's raising a girl child in this very messed up society. I'm raising boys. My biggest fear is to visit my sons in jail. My biggest fear is hearing my kids calling other women opagile or harassing other women that's opagile lo mntana loya or ewume kanjani. So these are the type of conversations we should be having with our own kids. Monitor their phone, listen to how they talk to other people, and make them respect everyone, not just women. Make them respect everyone in general, because I feel like all people should be respected. If you're going to tell a child, no, respect women, what are you saying to the other males? So you should only respect females and not males. So I believe raising a child and having to have those conversations with them is very, very crucial. And what did I want to say again? I think I forgot about this. But yeah, it'll come back to me in a few. Yeah,
you can always come back to it when you remember. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Good
I like
point,
the point.
Angela.
Where,
Good point.
yeah, I like the point where you said a lot of people could be cool. There's a very thin line between cool and being a parent for clout. You know what I mean? And we all know that there are those parents that are doing it for clout. You know what I mean? Whereas there's no contribution, you know. But I think somebody said it here to say it's very sad and depressing to have a father figure who has an absent presence in the child's life, you know, because either the son becomes very aggressive and it takes longer for them to let go of the anger, you know. And she says, I'm speaking from experience, and I guess other people's experiences are different, even when the mother is playing a vital role, you know. And this then goes back to what Umlamli was saying about the difference between being a single parent, whether the parent is alive or not, you know what I mean? And then coming back to your point, Andile, in being a parent for clout, is that uzomlanda umntwana thokozani, you know what I mean? And post pictures of your daughter so that people then assume that you are a perfect father, you know what I mean? And you're cool and all and you know. So for me, it kind of speaks to your influences as your roles on being fathers, you know what I mean? I guess, like you said, there's a difference between being cool. So I guess at some point we need to unpack what is actually being a cool dad. You know what I mean? What does that entail? Being a cool dad. So it has touched on a lot of things. And yes, Mlamni, you can go.
Cool. Hey, thank you, Katlehone, and thank you, guys. More. Give us more of these things. I want to discuss
Yes.
Andile, powerful, my man.
Yeah.
And I like calling it Insta daddies.
Social
you know, social media daddies.
That's true, actually.
My point, rather, in like closing as your request, would then be to fathers or to parents, actually, to say, let's stop being Insta parents, guys, and let's stop replacing quality time with gifts. You know, you buying your kids gifts and now bringing gifts there does not mean you are a good parent. Quality time is not presence. Quality time is you, and quality time is not even expensive, just so you know. You know, you just need to be present and spend time with your child, and that's all. And you need to know, Guti. I always like saying, Guti, as as young boys with no fathers, we never really taught love. We never really taught how to love. And as young girls with no fathers, we never taught actually how to receive love. So that's where then the generational curses will always perpetuate because we are doing things for all the wrong reasons, Bazalwane.
Yeah.
So Instagram, social media will not validate you being a good parent. Just spend time with your kids. Share with us if it's genuine. We will see if it's genuine.
Yeah.
Don't share with us because you are poser and then if likes, nettraction, nokuthi nibe popular on social media. Please, please, please.
I hear you. So someone here is saying it's not about being a cool father. It's about the expensive pram, the expensive sneakers that the child is wearing. But anyway, shoo, guys, I think a lot was shared here. And just to close it off, you know what I mean? Umlamli has said his piece, but between Andile and Togozane, I just want you guys to kind of close off the whole conversation for us. You know what I mean? There's a lot that could have been unpacked. I mean, if I were to go through my script, there's so many questions, there's so many points, but I enjoyed the fact that we kind of touched on the day-to-day issues that do come up of the role of being a father. So please do just sum it up for us and we can close off the show.
Thank you so much for having us today. This is a dope platform. I wish you had more time.
I know.
Thank you, Lamlile. You had dope points, valid, straight to the point. Thank you, Andile. Today was a good day in the office for you. I'm very happy about the most things that you've raised, and I'm proud to know you as a father of 3. And I think those boys are in good hands. And I think Katlego, clearly this needs more time. I think there's a lot to be unpacked, and I think possibly yes, Kuku is right. Can this be a weekly content? Yes, I think something along these lines
are weekly, you know. So it's just different.
There's so much, because honestly speaking, there's a lot within the boy community that needs to be fixed and looked into. There's a lot within the child community that needs to be looked in, and I think it would take more than an hour to try and go through the things. And there's so much with regards to the Insta daddies, the daddies that want to pose for pictures, but umntwana akazi size esicathulo somntwana, akazi ukuthi umntwana udlala.
Yes, nokuthi uthandani.
Akazi lutho, but kuyapose. So I think this needs more time. I think I'd love to unpack more because I have so much more to say in depth. But yeah, the time is limited. Thank you for having me. This is a dope concept. I'm happy.
Thank you, Boja. Andile?
Thank you very much. I believe there's this. I think I'm not sure when it usually gets in every year. It's a men's conference. So these are the conversations. These are the seminars we should be having online or physically. Yeah. Online or physically, these are the conversations that we should be having, because there are a lot of us who think they're doing things right, but they actually doing things very, very wrong. I mean, I would ask some of my friends, I'm not going to mention them, but I would ask some of my friends, are you involved in your child's life? It's like, yeah, very much in that. Who's the teacher of your child? What grade is your child in? Grade 3, what is it, D or C? So you need to know your child, you need to understand your child and what he wants or what she wants. So these are the type of conversation I believe we should be having as young fathers to empower our kids to become better parents in the near future. We are better parents than our parents were before, and then we need to make sure that our kids become way better than us from now going forward. I understand we grow up, things happen, we no longer date the mothers of our kids. And I believe that I'm not sure if we didn't touch the topic of having a relationship with the mother of your kids, but I think those are the kind of topic we should be having. What relationship do you have with the mother of your child? Do they entrust you to find a better partner to be a good mother to their kids? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I believe as time goes by, we should be having these weekly conversations. I'm not sure Butler's going to instigate them or what, if this is going to be a perfect platform for us to go to. Yeah. Exactly. So every now and then we should be jumping in, having a conversation. I'm really glad to have met UTK, Nomlabli, and I hope from now on going forward, I'm going to be able to converse you too as well.
Yes.
You instigated this whole thing. I can't forget you. And I hope from now going forward, we're going to be chatting. And yeah, I'm going to learn a lot from you guys. I won't lie. And like I said in my post, this is my favorite topic because I am so proud to be a father to my kids. And it's a very sensitive issue when people talk about absent fathers. You know what I mean? Yeah. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. Like Mina Nyabonga. And Tebogo, I did note your comment about speaking to my gents. Here it is. Don't think I'm ignoring you. So I will engage with you. Please just send us a message. For inbox Aruna, and then I'll make sure that I do find you. So thank you so much to our audience. Thank you for the overtime, and I mean 11 minutes wasn't too long in ending the show. I always like to respect people and their time because that's a big thing as well. We need to respect our audience, we need to respect our guests as well, because I mean after here I'm going back into parenting and still have to work and still have to be and you know what I mean. So thank you so much, guys, for the time. Nyabonga for your points. I mean, I know all of you differently as individuals. I know everyone's stories, and like you said, we don't have enough time to unpack this, But before we end our season of the first season of Around the Table, we will make sure that we find ways to kind of revisit the conversations that were kind of too big to talk about, and we can still have you guys as guests as well. I mean, if you don't mind. So Nyabonga again, guys, Nyabonga to everybody that was watching. Thank you so much. From me to you, my guest Nyantanda, please remain the amazing fathers you are. I mean, people can call you names, people can call you whatever, but Mina, I'm going to appreciate you for the efforts that I know that you're putting into being fathers. You will always grow and do better, and I'm hoping that you do grow and do better and not become insta daddies and cloud daddies and so forth. And whether you do meet other people or not, let us teach our kids love, let us teach our kids respect. And guys, but I think as parents we will find the solutions in how we raise our kids. So thank you so much from me to you. Before you guys go, I just want to say to everyone, please do stay tuned in. Our shows are Mondays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. So Mondays are the conversations with men, and Wednesdays are conversation with women. We always say that we never want to bombard the women and the men because we all have different views. And in the first show that we heard of men is that men want to be heard. And I'm grateful that we've created such a platform where it's just conversations amongst friends and you are being heard from your views as well, what your thoughts are, and then we can all carry that into. Our topic on Wednesday is going to be understanding rape and the healing journey. That's going to be very heavy, but I'm looking forward to seeing each and every one of you back on our timelines. Nani, as my guest, Ngalani be involved in the conversation on Wednesday because it speaks a lot in how we raise our kids as well and the people around us. So from me to you guys, thank you so much. Have an amazing evening. Stay safe, stay warm, and make sure that you're protecting your little ones. And kisses from Auntie B.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Subsequent.